In 2021, scientists at the Smithsonian cut into a century-old pigeon corpse. They extracted DNA from its leg stump and toe pad. After 100 years, they finally answered a question that had haunted historians. Was this bird male or female? But here is the thing. In solving that mystery, they accidentally uncovered something much bigger. The most famous war hero you have never heard of might be a fraud. This is the story of Cher Ami, the pigeon that saved 194 American soldiers in World War I. Or at least, that is what the U.S. Army wanted you to believe. October 1918, the Argonne Forest in France. World War I had been raging for 4 years. Communication on the battlefield was a nightmare. When artillery shells started falling, phone lines got shredded, radios barely worked, and the soldiers who volunteered to run messages through no man's land, most of them never came back. So the military turned to an unlikely solution: birds. 500,000 homing pigeons served in World War I. They could fly at 60 miles per hour and cover 500 miles in a single day. And they had a 95% success rate delivering messages when everything else failed. The U.S. Army purchased 10,000 pigeons from American breeders and received another 600 from Britain. By war's end, they had bred over 4,000 more. But none of them would become as famous as one small black check cock named Cher Ami. To understand why, we need to go back to the deadliest week of his life. Major Charles Whittlesey had a problem. He had led 554 American soldiers deep into the Argonne Forest. They had pushed further than anyone expected, and now they were surrounded. German forces closed in from every direction. Food ran out. Water ran out. Then came the worst part. American artillery, completely unaware of Whittlesey's position, started bombing their own men. Friendly fire. Shells screamed down on American soldiers from American guns. 30 men killed, 80 wounded by their own side. Whittlesey had sent 2 pigeons already with their coordinates. Both were shot down by German snipers. He had 1 pigeon left. He scribbled a desperate message on tissue paper. The message read, "We are along the road parallel to 276.4. Our own artillery is dropping a barrage directly on us. For heaven's sake, stop it." He attached it to Cher Ami's leg and released him into hell. German soldiers opened fire immediately. Sharpshooters had been trained specifically to kill messenger pigeons. According to the legend, Cher Ami took a bullet through the breast. His right leg was blown nearly off, hanging by a single tendon. The message canister was still attached, but he kept flying. 25 miles, 25 minutes. Through artillery fire and rifle shots and a sky choked with smoke, he crashed into the loft at Rampont, France, blind in one eye, soaked in blood, barely alive. The artillery stopped. The Lost Battalion was rescued. 194 men walked out of that ravine alive, and Cher Ami became the most celebrated animal hero of World War I. At least, that's the story the Army told. In 2021, Dr. Frank Blazich Jr., curator of military history at the Smithsonian, published research that won the Secretary's Research Prize. He was not trying to debunk a legend. He was just trying to solve a simple mystery. Was Cher Ami male or female? The DNA test confirmed Cher Ami was male. Mystery solved. But Blazich kept digging, and what he found was troubling. Official Signal Corps records showed Cher Ami was wounded on October 21st or 27th, not October 4th. The flight was from Grand Pre, not Charlevoix Ravine. The distances did not match. The dates did not match. Here is the most damning part. When the Smithsonian requested war records in 1920, the Signal Corps admitted they could not find any war record of Cher Ami being the pigeon which carried the message from the Lost Battalion. The artillery barrage had actually stopped 5 minutes before Cher Ami arrived. This was likely because of a phone call from Colonel Stacy. So what really happened? Captain John L. Carney, Cher Ami's trainer, first connected the pigeon to the Lost Battalion when greeting reporters on April 16, 1919. Blazich believes the Army deliberately created the legend to promote the Signal Corps pigeon service. It worked. For over a century, Lost Battalion veterans brought their children to the Smithsonian and said that the little pigeon was the reason they survived. Here's what makes this story complicated. Cher Ami did fly wounded. He did carry a message. He did nearly die doing it. The exact circumstances are murky, but the bravery was real. And he wasn't alone. One day, after Cher Ami's legendary flight, another pigeon named President Wilson flew 40 kilometers through fog and rain, with his left leg shot off and a bullet through his breast. His body now sits outside the Army Chief of Staff office at the Pentagon. Stumpy John Silver flew 25 miles after a shell exploded near him, leaving him with a bullet through his breast, shrapnel wounds, and his right leg completely gone. When he died in 1935, his name was still called at roll call. The senior non-commissioned officer would respond. He died of wounds received in battle in the service of his country. Roll call remained a ritual. And then there is Le Vaillant, the French pigeon released from Fort Vaux during the Battle of Verdun. His message read simply, "He's my last pigeon." He flew through poison gas and artillery smoke, arriving at the Verdun citadel mortally wounded. He died in the pigeon master's hands. Mortally wounded, he became a symbol. Le Vaillant became the only pigeon appointed to the Legion of Honor during World War I. But the biggest pigeon mystery remains unsolved. In 1982, a man named David Martin found pigeon remains in his chimney in Surrey, England. It was just 5 miles from Field Marshal Montgomery's World War II headquarters. The message contained 27 coded letter groups. It may have been sent from Nazi-occupied France on D-Day itself. Britain's top code breakers at GCHQ tried to crack it. They failed. The message likely used a one-time pad for encryption. The codebook was probably destroyed decades ago. Both pigeon identification numbers are missing from every historical archive. That message, whatever it says, will probably stay secret forever. Major Whittlesey received the Medal of Honor for the Lost Battalion, but the war never left him. In November 1921, the same month Cher Ami went on public display at the Smithsonian, Whittlesey jumped from a ship into the Atlantic Ocean. He was never seen again. The pigeon lived on in glass and memory. The man who released him could not outfly his ghosts. If you want to see more forgotten stories from history, make sure to subscribe.